And here we're back for the All Access Pass listeners and viewers, back in the Dream Big Summit together with Dwabha, who runs the orphanage in India called Ramana's Garden in Rishikesh. I beg you, I implore you to listen to the video above here. Her story is amazing, and she has some deep wisdom to share with us. Hopefully you've listened to it. I got chills, I got tears. I'm like sold. I am in love with you. I adore you. And that is the greatest compliment I can make. So to now in this segment, I would love to get your techniques that you've shared and maybe stories. I remember that one story of the boy who had been in an abusive family situation, and how one can heal the past, how people can heal their traumatized maybe childhood or even slightly negative childhood, and any part of them, and how they can create a blossoming reality out of it. All yours.
Wow. Okay. As I said in the first interview, because I came from a extremely dysfunctional, physical, emotional, abusive childhood where it was extreme daily abuse. Once I started to look at how do we heal that, how seeing that out of it, because sometimes being in it, I couldn't see the light. When you're in the bottom of the well, it's very difficult to see the light. But when I had managed to move myself out, move myself into a space where healing was being made available and many different very I started to look at what is it, why? You know, I'm not there anymore. I'm not a child. I'm not being beaten, tied up, tortured, having bones broken. I'm not there. Why do I have to deal with that? I prefer not to touch that. But very soon I began to understand that it's in every cell. Every cell in our body has a memory. So all of that abuse, all of those memories are there. So they're going to reflect, yes, I'm not there anymore, and I'm not 5 years old, but I'm still relating to the world from the pain of 5 years old. So understanding that gave me the fuel to say, okay, how do we heal that? And how do we help others heal that? And of course, the first step was acknowledgement. Not pushing it away. Through all my early 20s, when I was out of there and those torturers weren't there, I pushed it away. And I pushed it away with strength and with building a big, strong, powerful ego and hiding it and hiding vulnerability. But when I began to want to open those doors, I understood. If you close a door to anything, it's a closed door. Love can't get in. Yeah. Compassion can't get in. Be able to lock the abuser out, but you also lock out all the love. So the first step is to open that door. Very painful. Feel that again. Recognize that that happened. And in that very moment, the awareness of empowerment arises from within. It happened, but it's not happening now. Yes, you were helpless. Yes, you were vulnerable. But now you can change that. You don't have to remain a victim. You don't have to keep drawing situations, which you will. And this is what life gave me such powerful teaching in. I said, I'm not going to touch that stuff. It's too painful. I don't want to go there. Again and again, I created situations where it was happening again.
Oh my God.
As an adult. Of course, My being was asking me to heal it, not put it in the basement, not bury it, acknowledge it, bring it forth to be healed. And relationships got worse. What I didn't learn with one, I chose another one who made it worse. You will learn it this time. Until I could really come back and see. Okay, I admit I'm here, bring it on. And as soon as I could open that door, I could see the healing in itself starts to come. And the main thing for me was the understanding that until we walk in the abuser's shoes, we can't forgive them.
We need to forgive to get beyond.
Why did they do that? What happened to them? Why did they have a desire to torture and abuse tiny children? What happened to them? Because all the platitudes and all the writing on the mirror with lipstick, I love myself and I forgive everyone who has been unkind. These things didn't work for me because they weren't real. Right. Only when I could really, from my own heart, feel compassion for each and every being that had ever harmed or hurt me, could I heal. Only then. I didn't have to do more. The minute I could feel compassion for them, the forgiveness was on its own. And as that could arise, I didn't need to create situations to have those things happen anymore.
And now I'd like you to give us some step techniques, ways that allow us to follow in those footsteps, because whether it's been torture or smaller issues in life, everybody has some pains. You know, there has been betrayal, there has been pain from negative imprints from parents or beliefs that were instilled early on, not getting the acknowledgement. Who knows what it's been? How do we address the feeling? How do we get in touch with it safely? And then also, how do we get to that level of acknowledgement and the next step to that forgiveness? Can you give us some techniques, some help?
I can only say what I did. And I can say that without meditation, it wouldn't have been possible. The first steps for me were to learn to quiet the mind. The first steps for me, there was so much chatter that I couldn't hear the inner voice. I couldn't hear the inner guidance. I didn't acknowledge that an inner guide existed. Through meditation, I could reach a space where I could hear my inner guides, where I could actually be guided. So for me, my understanding is that's the first step.
Okay.
Then the second step is a lot of homework, a lot of brutally honest digging, following, really being critically honest with ourselves. These are the patterns that I'm still acting out. What are my judgments? Why am I judging, first of all? Judgment's a great door. I consider them, I used to, when I was working with teenagers, call them the minefield. Like mines in the war, but with mind. The mind field. So as I tread through the mind field, what are the mines that I step on? Self-loathing, judging others, jealousy, competition, and on and on. But every time I step in one of those land mines, there's an explosion out of wellness. I cease to be in self-love and wellness, and I get into whatever the vibration was that takes me away. So why? What is there? And under all the landmines, the bomb is always the same. And the bomb is always whatever it was that made us feel unlovable. So it's been my experience and the experience working with these kids and with teenagers and adults all over the world for the last 36 years, until we find within us a way to forgive ourselves, understanding that whatever we did, we were doing the best that we could in that moment. Yeah, but it was a really big mistake. Well, whatever it was, we were doing the best that we could. And my grandmother already said that when I was 5. When people did things that really were annoying, she'd always say, if they knew better, they'd do better. She was so right. Whatever happened and whatever on the outside is happening, we are all in this dance and we're doing the best that we can in that moment. So I cannot beat myself up for what I did at 15. I look at it now and go, wow, can't believe you did that. Well, the bottom line is because I did that and that and that, it brought me to where I am today. And what I've discovered as the steps for healing are, no matter where you go back to, you just bring it to present.
Okay.
You bring it into present awareness and it dissolves.
So how do you bring that in? Let's just do an example. Okay, so maybe grab one of the stories from one of your teenagers. Is there one that you could use as an example and then walk us step by step through the essential steps?
Well, as I just said, the key is finding a way to forgive.
Okay.
Because until we do, not only the other, but ourselves. Because until we do, we are going to keep reenacting situations that invite us.
Right.
So even just understanding that changes everything, because you're not a victim.
Right.
Why are all these bad things always happening? They're not bad. They're happening because they're an invitation to you to look here and heal something that's still asking, like a baby crying.
Right.
In the next room. You can lock the door, you can go outside, you can go in the baby's still going to cry.
Right.
Until you open the door and see. So the situations that we judge as things that are hurting us, would become victims to them. Why am I having all this bad luck? Why are people always doing these things to me? And on. Changes the moment you see. Those are invitations to heal.
And invitations of the universe to give you a chance to say, this too I can learn to love.
This too I can learn to
It
love.
was my favorite line out of the book, The Lazy Man's Guide to Enlightenment. It's a mantra I have used throughout my life. When conversely to you, I wound up in riches and I cried my eyes out and I'm like going, God, how did I deserve this? And I opened up The Lazy Man's Guide to Enlightenment right next to me, living in this 5-star hotel at age 19, and open that up, and this sentence stares me in the face, similar to you, a spiritual book. This too you can learn to love. And I'm like going, oh, I guess I've been judging this riches, so I guess I better busy myself to love it, otherwise I'm going to be really unhappy. Yep. So learn to love this too.
And know just what you just said. We are being helped. As long as we believe that we're walking it alone,
yes,
we do walk it alone. And it becomes harder and harder. If we truly understand that we are not alone. Those arms are around us, we're being helped, and we're being guided. Yes. We don't have to do it alone. Who put that book in your hotel?
Yep.
Who put that book in my hand all those years ago? And that is why I think meditation has been the route for me. It's making me available to tune in and ask. Ask. Jesus said it so beautifully. Ask, and it shall be given. Knock, and the door will open. And life goes on teaching me that over and over again. And in my wild, impetuous youth, I rebelled and said, there is no God. If there were, he couldn't allow this, and this to happen to me, to the children, to the war, ta, 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 ta. I closed the door because it wasn't the way I wanted it to be. The main understanding for me is that whatever it is divine perfection unfolding.
Mm.
And all I have to do is find a way in my being to open to it. Be it the earthquake, the flash flood, the abuse, whatever it is, okay? It's now.
Yes.
This is happening.
It is happening.
Where within me can I find shelter? Not outside. Outside's gone. It just fell down. It just went down the cliff, okay? Where is that which is never touched? Where can I rest? And until we build that, we are not going to heal and be secure. And if we build that, then whatever falls, that can't be taken. Exactly what the Master promised on the first day. You will cease to be a beggar when you discover that which was never given, because it's always been there and can never be taken. And we discover that the more we come to know and love ourselves. And as we come and love ourselves, we begin to see that all the periphery, whatever it is, people who are corrupt, people who cheat, people whatever, are just doing what they're doing. And we have a choice in every single moment. How will I respond to that?
Yeah.
And I would use here the example. I happened to be where there was a terrible terrorist attack at the German bakery in Pune, which was one of the worst that's happened in India. They used nail bombs and a chemical that the fire extinguishers couldn't put out. So we watched people burning, and the fire extinguisher did not put the fire out. I had to come home to my kids and face the fact that the same terrorists who did that when they were captured had a map, and on the map, our village had a red circle around it, which meant we were maybe planned to be next or next. So what do you say? Here you are. You know that you're literally on a terrorist with a red circle. Do you say, oh, okay, we don't go out. We don't talk to any strangers. We close down. We live in fear. Be careful. We could be targeted. Yeah, we could have done that. Could have lived all these years. It's been several years since that happened. Or what do I say to the kids? And what we decided together is, okay, maybe those terrorists weren't all caught. Maybe they're still out there. Maybe they're here today. Maybe they're in our village today. Maybe they're the person on the bus next to you. Because those particular terrorists traveled 40 hours by bus with the bombs in their luggage. And they stayed in the cafe that they bombed for 2 hours before they killed 17 and critically burned 70. My question there and my answer with the kids is this. We have to assume that they're the man on the bus next to you. We have to assume they're the stranger who's blocking your path. How do you diffuse the bomb? And there's only one way, loving kindness. If we assume that all the strangers that my kids are going to encounter every single day, going on the bus, going to school, going to the market, have a bomb in their bag, how can I ensure they won't set it off? There's only one way. Diffuse it with loving kindness. If we imbibe to every being, sentient being, be it an animal, be it the dog on the street, be it the man who's in the bus next to you, be it the man who's blocking your path and arguing that you need to find an alternative route.
Mm.
If you diffuse their bomb, maybe the bomb isn't in their bag yet, maybe it's still just in their heart, but their wound, we'll call it the bomb wound. If we can diffuse that with loving kindness, we don't need to live in fear.
Mm.
We can, if we close down and live in suspicion and fear, I believe we call it into us. So what I said to my kids is invite them in. Invite them in, all of them. Every person you meet, make sure that after meeting you, they still don't have a bomb of hate in their heart, at least not from their encounter. A smile, it's not so hard, that's not asking so much.
Right. Yeah.
A kind word.
Yeah.
And exactly within days after we had this meeting with all the kids and we all agreed and we had a powwow of all the ways they could think of to defuse those bombs. In a train in London, a man got in during rush hour, super crowd, with 2 backpacks full of bombs. And he tried to ignite one of them, and by God's grace, it failed. And all it did was make a loud boom and knock him down. So now he was laying in the floor of a super crowded train with wires sticking out of his backpack, smoking, stunned. And an English gentleman reached down his hand and said, "Are you all right, mate? Let me give you a hand up. How you doing?" The guy jumped off the train. He did not defuse the second bomb. He could have. There were 2.
Yeah.
That tremendous act of kindness. And that's a lot.
Yeah.
A smoking backpack with wires sticking out of it. And are you all right, mate? Can I give you a hand up? And we all watched that on the news and we all cheered.
Yeah. Because they understood.
We diffused that man diffused those bombs.
Yeah.
And it's up to each and every one of us.
Beautiful.
Because we just don't know.
Yeah.
And as we live in an unknown time, especially now where every single day there's a terrorist attack, and then we read the background and we see that there was so much pain, so many things happened to that
person. Yeah.
What would have happened if, as he sat next to you, carrying his bomb in his bag, you turned to him and showered him with unconditional love? Could you have diffused it? I don't know, but I think it helps.
And certainly the attitude is, because what we focus on is what we get. So with the attitude of fear, we're, we can always, I love this prayer, being in the right place at the right time, being guarded, guided, and protected, and trusting that the inner guidance puts you exactly in the place where you need to be. And there is a story in the training that I took with Dr. Vern Wolf, who will be on this show. And he trained people in specific steps of how to talk to the negative energy. We will cover that in another show. And how to do exactly what you say is like what you really want is love, right? So he had this participant, and she was always terrified of having somebody jump in her car. So she would always lock all the doors and would drive into traffic.
I love it.
Well, after the seminar, she's like, okay, I'm opening the doors. But, on that day, of course, somebody jumps right in her car, says, give me your da-da-da-da, holds the gun to her head. And she turns to me and says, I've been waiting for you. I want to ask you, what is it that you really want? And he's like, what? And when you said he jumped out, I think that's what the guy did. And I can't remember if now it's been 30 years that I heard this story, if either the conversation developed, but whatever it was, she was out of harm's way. She was safe. And she faced her fear, and she realized it was her who created the holographic response to her internal imagery, her picture show. So like you said, once you start healing that deeper fear, anxiety, or whatever it is, open your doors, you will invite in everything that is of like kind. So whatever resonates in the same frequency as you will meet you. And if it's love, it's love. If it's not, well, then you can still practice some more. So it's, I mean, I'm just saying, it's not just, could you've diffused? Yes, guaranteed. There's one more story. Don told me this story a long time ago. He was studying with a famous Kung Fu master, the kind that when he was supposed to break, let's say some wood, he would say, okay, here's a bunch of bricks. Which one do you want to have broken? The fifth one down? And he would put his hand, no force. He would just put his hand over it and break the brick. So he gave all these people an example of how to prepare with these magical powers of being a Kung Fu master. And he said, okay, imagine there's a car, you get in, there's a person, puts a gun to your head, and what do you do? And they all came up with these amazing, okay, you do this trick, you do that. And in the end, he said, no, you don't show up. You don't need to show up. You just simply don't show up. You don't even get in the car. The moment that your subconscious says, you better take a walk in the park, you meet somebody else, you take a coffee, and you don't show up. You stay safe. And the thing is that when we have that mantra deeply in our heart, being in a safe place at the right time, the right message will come to your subconscious at the right time, and you will absolutely be guided, guarded, and protected based on being willing to love whatever comes in your way. So if you're able to love whatever it is, like you said, you open the door, you say, invite them in, give them love. They had a bad time, they had a bad childhood. Ask them what they need. And that will diffuse. Maybe it won't even get to the bomb. Maybe it will actually just simply be enough that you extend love for that love to return into your life. So be the force that pays it forward. And your stories, I mean, augmented by other people's stories, I just wanted to share similar types for us all to get tools to know we can be safe, and to love is the safest thing to get through.
And paying it forward.
Paying
and
it forward.
Is the second key.
Yeah.
Putting forward to every sentient being what you want to receive back.
Yeah.
And if you make that a daily practice, for me, it's waking up before the world. It's not always easy to do, especially when you've got 70 kids that can't wait for it to get light. But waking up, and before the day starts, just tuning into, what do I want this day to mean? And allowing nature is my biggest, greatest ally. The first bird. I usually wake up just before the first bird. That first bird song, yes. Let today be a song in my heart and in every heart of every being that I meet. Amen. Now, the sun, more birds, many, many birds. Good. Yes, it's working. Let my song spread to all the hearts. Soon we have a giant orchestra of birds. I'm so lucky I live where there are birds. Here comes the first sun ray piercing in my window. Yes, let me bring light into my own life and into the life of every sentient being, as the sun has brought this light into my room. Beautiful. By then, it's also waked up 70 little beings, and a lot of laughter starts pouring through my door. Yes, let me bring laughter. Because they all say, oh, laughter is the best medicine. It is. Yes. It is. First, we have to laugh at ourselves. Then, what greater gift to give than to bring laughter to others? So, Amen. Song, light, laughter. And by then, I've got kids in the room, and the day begins. but finding your own way, whatever it is, to set the mood. If it's a mantra or another prayer, it doesn't matter. But your intention, again, your dream. Setting the intention, and for me it helps with a concrete song, light, whatever around me that I can actually tangibly hear it, taste it, touch it, feel it.
Right.
But whatever works, it's setting an intention that my day, my getting out of this bed and walking will bring these gifts to myself and to others.
Beautiful.
Just wake up with, God, I'm late. Oh no, and there'll be traffic. Oh, it's Saturday. Why didn't I? We've already set ourselves up for a rough day.
Oh,
rough day.
Right. So it's so true. Start your day with an intention. You
get derailed. Okay. You walk out and the chickens just got washed away and they're all down under a foot of mud. Okay. I can freak out. I can get depressed. I can rave. Or I can just get all the kids and we have a chicken washing party and we laugh a lot.
I want to thank you for being the beacon of light that you are. I mean, we didn't touch on even the smallest of surface of what you do and your dedication to humanity, to mankind, to humankind, to all the growing beings, animals, birds, the organic gardens, the acreages, the people whose life you touch. It is off the charts. And thank you for that moment where the universe spoke to you and said, don't be a beggar, wake up to that part which nobody can take away. Thank you. Thank you. So thank you so much for having been here, participating, sharing with us. And I'm going to make sure that people get the website link to Ramana's Garden, can read all about you and find out, maybe get inspired, and for sure get that PDF of your book when they send you an email. Thank you. Thank you.